SQL Server Management Studio version 18 includes new integrations with Microsoft's other database management tool, Azure Data Studio. Azure Data Studio is the new cross-platform alternative to SSMS that's aimed at database administrators, and it brings a modern approach to working with your servers and your data. If I come up to the Tools menu, you'll see that we have a new entry here called Azure Data Studio. If you don't have the program already installed on your computer, clicking on this link will take you to the web page where you can download the installer file. Otherwise, if you do have it installed like I do, it'll jump you right into the program. If this is the first time you've started Azure Data Studio, it'll put you in here the connection window, and you can type in the details for your server connection. I'm just going to connect to my SQL Server instance on my local host here and leave it as Windows Authentication. Let's go ahead and give this connection a name. And I'll press the connect button. And that'll connect me to the same SQL Server instance that we were working with in Management Studio. Back in SSMS, you also have a few options to work with specific databases in Azure Data Studio and quickly access some of the cool features that the program adds into the mix. For instance, if I right-click on the Wide World Importers database, I have a new menu item here for Azure Data Studio, and inside of there I have two options, New Query and New Notebook. Let's take a look at New Query first. When I select that, it moves me into another Azure Data Studio window, and it automatically connects me to the database that I right-clicked on in Management Studio. It also opens up a new query window, and I can get straight to work. This will allow me to take advantage of some of the features of Azure Data Studio. One of these in particular is called snippets that I like. If you type in SQL create table and press enter, it'll automatically fill in all of the text that you need to create a simple database table. All of the table name fields are highlighted as you see, and I can simply type in the table name here, employees, and they all get populated at the same time. I'll press the tab key to move over to the schema, and I'll type in the schema human resources. And you'll see all of those get populated. Press tab one more time, and it moves me down into the column specifications. So using snippets here in Azure Data Studio makes it really easy to create a new database table. Let's go ahead and close this query window and not create that table. And I'll move back into Management Studio. The other option that we had by right-clicking on the database and going to Azure Data Studio was to create a new notebook. Notebooks allow you to create a document that includes text and executable code blocks. This is useful for sharing procedures or making sure that a process is followed consistently between users. Here at the very top, we have two different options to add a code block or to add a text block. I'm going to start here by clicking on plus text. That'll add in a new blank text box. And I'll simply type in the text, "This is an Azure Data Studio notebook." I'll click off of it to save the change, and then I'll add in a code block. This will be a simple select statement to select everything from application.people. I'll click off of it to save the change to the code block, and then I'll add in another text block. And finally, one more code block. Now I can save this notebook and pass it off to a colleague or a friend, and they can review the text that I've typed in here. They can see my code, and they can even run the code right here inside of the notebook. I'll press the play button here, and it'll run the select statement against the Wide World Importers database, and I can see all the data down below. Then if I hover my mouse over this top area, I can click on this button over here on the far right and choose Clear Output. Then I can come down to the next select statement and run this one as well, and I can see these results. So that's how notebooks work here in Azure Data Studio, and I think it's a pretty cool little feature. Let's go ahead and close this down, and I'm not going to save any changes to it. So with these new integrations to SQL Server Management Studio and Azure Data Studio, it makes it easy to work with your database servers with whatever management program is best suited for a particular task.